Om Lokaha Samastaha Suki no Bhavantu. May all beings be happy and peaceful, and may all investors be prosperous. May infinite intelligence govern all of your financial transactions. What's up, everyone? It's Phoenix here. Happy Friday. We are going to dive into the charts in a moment here. If you would like to support my work, you can do so by liking the video, maybe sharing it with your friends, or purchasing one of my courses. If you're interested in tracking me in real time, you can do so in the C3 Discord group, which you can join for free at present using the MEXC referral link that is on my website. So let's dive into Bitcoin. Of course, the Dixie's up today, as expected. It's playing out as expected. If you go back and you take a look at Wednesday's video, the setups, they've played out just this morning here. The Dixie is up above this weekly level. I'm anticipating some resistance here between 105 and 106. The S&P 500, of course, is down today again, and may find some support down at around 390, but not there yet. Pretty steep drop there. Now, onto Bitcoin. Was this really a surprise? Not if you've been watching my channel. If we remove the levels here for just a moment and we take a look, we have clearly identified this as our range. We are still range bound for Bitcoin. This is not a bull market. Let me remind you, those of you that are seeing this for the first time, it's not all that unusual. Now, if we look, we can see what just happened was a deviation outside of a range on the lower time frames. So let's take a look and see now what the levels here again was the range. Here was the deviation. Back inside, showed some weakness. Short trigger actually over the last couple of days. Now, of course, I know there's been some funny business up and down, and that is to be expected. Usually before a big move, that's what you will see, okay? If we drop down now even lower, we'll see on the 4H. Had a big drop yesterday. This was yesterday, right? And then it was sent back up again, dropped again. It looked like maybe it wanted to push up, but this is how it works. We make a big move down and then a sharp rally and then another big move down, scare out the weaker shorts to make way, to make room, to build up the liquidity. Okay, so this is not a surprise. Okay, so if we look at this again on the 1H now, just looking at Bitcoin, what was the trigger? This was the January high, 23,950. This was the level that I was saying to watch in between here and the top of this range here at around 24,266. And you can see that we had the breakdown from here, okay? Breakdown, retest, breakdown. Now stumbling along, here was a short trigger from Wednesday, okay? So maybe you missed this, okay? Now, what do you do here when you see something like this playing out on the 1H? Now we drop down to the lower time frames. Where was the trigger here? I would argue that it was right here, this candle right here, this clear break below, not a very strong rejection wick here. And then there was follow through on that in the candles that came from there. So for me personally, I was building a position up here. Actually, not for Bitcoin, for Ethereum. We'll get into that in a moment here. But now the question is it going to bounce all the way back up again? Potentially. You never know, right? I mean, it could happen like it did yesterday, or the last few hours before the close, we saw a pretty strong little rally that brought us up again. But I would be looking to see if it comes back up to this 23.75 level. And if it does and shows some weakness, again, there's a short trigger, bring it back down again, because this is what usually happens. We have the drop, we have the lower high, we have the lower low, lower high, lower low, okay? Now, how far down can we go for Bitcoin? Where would the targets be? What is the middle of the range here, okay? Well, we're actually already in the middle of this range, but you could take this larger range as well. It's quite possible that we head all the way back down 22,500. I would say that's a minimum target. And then looking for 21,500. And then from there, it's anybody's guess. It could come all the way down 2,500. And then we're looking at back down to the bottom of this much larger range, 18,600. 1,600. Now, I am leaning more on this side here of the fence. Most people would probably say there's no way in hell that's going to happen. You never know. It could also come back down to 21,500 and then shoot back up from there. We don't know for sure, but at present, we are seeing weakness. We are seeing the end of this strong uptrend, okay? We are seeing that very clearly. It is about to put in a lower low here on the higher time frames, okay? So just be mindful of that, especially with the altcoins. We'll go through a few of the altcoins here in a moment. Again, I'm trying to keep these as brief as possible. There's so much information to cover. It's hard to do that. But Ethereum also, what was this a surprise to you? If it was, then you need to brush up on your TA, because this was our range. These were deviations. We're back inside the range now. What do you expect when you get a deviation back inside the range? It's stumbling along here, okay? And then you have the breakdown below the January high. And actually, it just wicked off the February open. And actually, the Bitcoin also did the same thing. So it may find support at the February open temporarily. But again, here was the first move down, caught this move, and then bounced back, had to cover here, okay? Rejected a second time, and then it's stumbling along at the critical level that we mentioned on Wednesday, okay? This level here in between 1675 and 1650, and then you see the buildup right here, okay? And once there's this sort of contraction, it's going to lead to an expansion ultimately, and the expansion was to the downside. So paying attention on the lower time frames, I got an alert at 3:30 this morning. Wasn't too pleased about that, but sort of expected it intuitively and started to really break down here. And then I was averaging in the 1640s, and then I caught some down on the way down here. Made a nice profit here, still in this trade, okay? This is a swing trade for me. I plan to hold this trade. If I get stopped out, no big deal. I'll try again another time, okay? But how low can Ethereum go? For those of you that missed this, maybe it comes back up again. Maybe it comes all the way back up again and retests somewhere around 1640, and then it starts to come down from there, okay? That would be your short trigger. Or maybe it continues to fall from here, and it starts to head all the way back down to 1,500, which is the bottom of this range here. But would you really be surprised if it came down lower, if it came down to 1,400, if it came down to 1,330, if it came down to all the way down to 1,200, okay? No, shouldn't surprise you, okay? Especially, again, if you consider that this is a much larger range that we're working with here. And now we are clearly headed back down again. So the mid would be a minimum target here, and that would be around 14, maybe 1460, okay? So just be prepared. Of course, again, it could come down lower, and then once it hits the mid, maybe rocket back up again. But we are playing the range. The traders that actually know their TA and can ignore the macro are gonna perform the best right now, okay? So I don't know about you, but for me personally, I'm in a MEXC trading competition right now, and I'm doing really well, and I would like to win a motorbike, maybe some Bitcoin. So I'm really focused, and it came at a really good time because this is when I am most active as a trader. So if you haven't joined MEXC, now's a good time to do that. You do it under me, and you get a lot more benefits in addition. So DYDX is one that I've really been paying very close attention to, because again, here's the larger range, here's a deviation, came back inside, another deviation, okay, made a lower high, and now looks to be wanting to break down, targeting down this mid here, 193, 112. But you've got to be careful with these alts because they tend to move all over the place, as it's been doing here. I took profits on this one. I'm about half into this short right now. It's again retesting this critical level here, which is the upper range boundary. Maybe it shoots beyond, maybe it comes up a little bit higher here. I'm prepared for those scenarios. Okay, some limit orders in play a little bit higher. So, but I'd be looking for the rejection here again for a short trigger. I'm only covering alts that I care about right now. The other ones, there's so many alts out there, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not doing live streams, because I want to stay focused on my trading setups, because if nobody else watches this or benefits, at least I will. So looking for another breakdown from here. Maybe it pushes up to this level here. It's 280, 285. Okay. But I don't think that's very likely given the current conditions. Depends. I mean, Ethereum, it's looking like it's trying to break back above 1600 right now. You never know what could happen. So looking at Injective is also has been strong during this rally, and you could see another pretty obvious range here, broke above that range. I'm thinking it's eventually going to break back inside and may head all the way back down to the bottom. You never know. But Injective has actually been stronger than some of the other alts. It hasn't necessarily put in a lower high or lower low yet, but it is showing a lot of weakness. It has been over the last several days. So now the question is, will it come back up and retest? It may come all the way back up and retest this level once again. Okay, this 388, and there would be your short trigger for Injective. Okay, Matic, I have not taken a position in Matic because I've been focused on the other alts, but Matic, notice what just happened with Matic. Okay, from a daily perspective, again, we're back inside this range now. This is actually could be a short trigger for Matic if it comes back up and starts to struggle in between these two lines here. I believe this is a quarterly level, actually, this 131, and then it starts to break down from there. Okay, so that could be a short trigger, maybe not too late to the party here with Matic. Optimism is of most interest to me right now because we just had a swing fail pattern above the previous high, got back inside. This was a short trigger for me, but now I would anticipate it's probably going to push back into this zone at least one more time, and this will give another opportunity for potential entry here. And mind you, even if Bitcoin, Ethereum make a full recovery today, which I don't anticipate they will, even if that is the case, this has been in a very strong uptrend for quite a while, and it looks to be peaking out here. Now, I could be a little bit premature in this, but I think that optimism will probably consolidate even if Ethereum and Bitcoin start to rally here, and in which case I'm looking for entries for it to go much lower down. This could be the top right up here or right around here. Maybe it makes another stab at this 330 level. We're in price discovery. We don't really know how high this is going to go, but this is where I'm looking to make entries. I already made one in the middle here. And so those are my positions at present. Looking at Phantom also, again, does this look good to you? Does this look bullish to you? It could be. I mean, it could be if Ethereum and Bitcoin make a strong recovery. It could continue to go north, but this is a lower high, okay? And lower low, maybe it comes down, lower low here. Could wait for that, maybe wait for that and see if it bounces here and then get an entry. If you're taking a swing position here and then your range, you've got your range high. Actually, we're just about to break back in. I would actually put it here. We're just about to break back into this range for Phantom. So we'll see if it gets there, but be careful with alts right now because there is thin liquidity even with Phantom. And even though it is a mid to large cap, be careful with these. Experienced traders only, not financial advice. Nothing in this video is financial advice. It's all my own personal views. Bitcoin and Ethereum are easier to trade under these conditions. In a bull market, alts are, well, it's pretty much the same until we start to see a lot of liquidity really come into the markets, which could take another 5 to 10 years. You can expect these to be trickier to trade. But Phantom looks like maybe it comes up and bounces off here, and then we get a breakdown from there. There's your short trigger. There's a very key level here around 48 cents for Phantom. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that you found value in this video, that you enjoyed it. And again, if you did, please give me a comment, give me a like, give me something so that I know that you're out there. And I do appreciate all of you, those of you that are tuning in for these videos. You are the cream of the crop, and I just really can't say enough good about my viewers. So thank you so much for tuning in, and have a beautiful rest of your day and have a beautiful weekend. I'll see you on Monday.